I have the sneaky suspicion that you don't care for the stock market.
I have very little money in the stock market. Correct.
So what are the why should someone not invest in the stock market?
Look, if I want to go buy $100,000 worth of Google stock,
Mm-hmm.
how much money do I need?
About $100,000.
If I want to go buy a $100,000 house, Payson Morby would tell you, how much money do you need?
0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can just scale a portfolio better. So look, at the end of the day, if I had, if I was sitting on $20 million, would I go, buy all real estate? Maybe, maybe not.
Mhm.
But I think most of us start off in a place where we're trying to scale and grow a portfolio of wealth. And real estate is the safest vehicle,
Mhm.
way more safe than the stock market. And there's there's utility. I can't get passive cash flow from the stock market. And everyone will say, oh, dividends or this and that. I get it. I understand the game. I understand the two variances. But, cash flow is a very real thing.
Mhm.
And I can't leverage to buy stocks. I can't get massive cash flow.
Mhm.
I have to sell assets in order to gain cash flow from them if I'm going in the stock market direction.
Yeah.
So I like the appreciation upside, which you can argue the stock market appreciates as well, but they don't allow you to depreciate. So it's the other three levers. It's scaling with leverage.
Mhm.
It's the depreciation tax benefits, because the government could care less if you invest in the market, but they absolutely want you to provide housing for people.
Right.
And then lastly, it's the cash flow that in retirement, I can just hold these forever. And the one thing we haven't talked about, Steve, is the legacy play. They even give you step-up basis, which is a CPA's or an IRS code that says, when I pass away, when my wife and I, let's say we pass away on the same day, and so our heirs are left our assets, their basis, which we can talk and go deep on this if you want to, but their basis steps up. So if my basis through depreciation, I would be depreciating my assets down to 0 over a 27.5-year life, typically on single family homes. So in 27.5 years, my basis, or what I have in the property on paper value, will be 0. So if I were then to sell a portfolio for whatever, $1 million, then you would be paying 30% of that in tax on the sale. However, if my heirs if I pass away and my heirs receive that same portfolio, the $1 million, their basis comes in at $1 million.
Mhm.
So if they turn around and sell that $1 million the same day that they inherited, effectively, they would be taxed 0 because they're in it for $1 million, they sold it for $1 million. So step-up basis is another way that there's life-changing wealth transformation or generational wealth transferring from one to another. So you look at these families that have truly, the Rockefellers and Vanderbilts and Trumps and all that, it's because they pass the wealth down from generation to generation, and it's not taxed. So they can scale and grow it, and it's largely through real estate.
Yeah. So that is actually my specific plan, right? Is basis step up, right? Leveraging that. So buying rental properties, keeping them, and then passing them off to my kids.
Yep.
At full market value as a non-taxable event. So that's, if you guys didn't catch that, right? You buy properties, you depreciate it down to 0 with the help from the U.S. government, and then you can pass it on to your kids, and they won't have to pay any taxes. Whereas if you pass it off in stocks or cash or any other assets, even gold, they'll have to pay taxes on the whole thing.
And there's currently a limit. I mean, there's a limit up to like $23 million, right? But I mean, if you get to that portfolio, well done. So, there's limitations, but just Google step-up basis and how it works in real estate, and they'll figure it out.
Another thing, the reason why I don't particularly care for the stock market, right? So you and I have met a lot of wealthy people who they say, yeah, I mean, it's real estate, obviously. Like, well, it's so obvious for them. It's real estate. But how many people do we know is like, man, I made all my money in the stock market? There are some.
Yeah.
There are some, right? But who really gets wealthy in the stock market? The brokers.
Yeah.
Right?
People that are trading.
The people that are actively trading your stock, right? They get the, asset management, 1 or 2%, right, of the portfolio. So if Mark invests $1 million with me, I will make $20,000 at the 2% every single year in fees. And I just need to, as a stockbroker, have a bunch of marks, right? And just get the 2% from that. And that's my living. So the people that actually make money in the stock market are the brokers.
You got it.
Yeah, they don't really talk about that so much, right? That's kind of like a little secret. So let's talk